Welcome to my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun. My name is Jamie Mick. I'm past District Governor of District 6950, and today I'm here with the Rotary Club of Seminole Lakes. We've got George, who's in line to be president in 1718, correct?
2 years, Jamie.
And of course, Doug Meyer, who is like the creme de la creme of S4TL, which we're going to talk to you about later in the show. And then Jean is here, and Jean is the foundation chairperson for their club as well. You're going to hear more about this fantastic club in Pinellas County in just a few minutes. We wanted to talk a little bit about Peace Fellows. You all have met a Peace Fellow that we've had from our district. Yes. We've got one that just came back from the Dublin area, actually from Scotland. She was on the district cruise with us. And what a wonderful young lady. I remember meeting her when she was the president of the St. Leo's Rotaract Club. And she was just kind of meek and mild and very timid. And now she is a young lady, and boy, has she accomplished a lot. Going abroad makes a huge difference. One of the articles I read this weekend was about the actual Peace Fellowship at Duke University. And the folks are there. Of course, they have similar experience than she had as well. And right now is the time, so if folks are interested, if you have any young adults that are looking to go on to further their education, now is the opportunity for them to do that. Of course, their education has to be something in one of the 6 areas of focus, and as well as it has to be somehow linked to peace and conflict resolution, which pretty much any one of the 6 areas of focus of the foundation is all about making the world a more peaceful place. And one of the other things, we talked about this just before the show, was I really want to encourage folks, you need to tell your Rotary story. Rotary International at Rotary.org is anxious to see your photograph with your little sign of why you're in Rotary. Why Rotary? Why not the Kiwanis Club? You know, why not Eastern Stars? Why is it Rotary that you've chosen to pursue your service to the community? So I'm going to ask you first, George, why did you join Rotary?
I was a young professional in the fire service, working my way through the ranks, and Doug Meyer was the gentleman that actually hired me and one of my mentors at the fire department. And he told me about the good work that Rotary did. Gave me a lot of opportunities for career advancement. But one of the things that really interested me, Rotary has 5 avenues of service, so there's something in Rotary for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
I heard about this mission trip to Peru by one of our local Rotarians, Dr. Sandra Lilo. And she was heading up cleft lip and palate missions. And I thought, what a way to give back to those that can't afford it, that can just make a huge difference in somebody's life. So between Doug Meyer being a mentor and the opportunity to do service in the world, I was hooked.
You know, I read a story a few weeks ago online, because I get all the newsletters, you know, that Rotary International sends out every week. And I kind of farmed through there for about ideas. And I read about a story for a cleft palate project, and where a gentleman had never been able to kiss his wife. And for the first time, he was able to kiss his wife. Something that we all take for granted, this gentleman hadn't been able to do for more than 20 years that he'd been married. And so it means a huge, it just changes people's lives, that project does. And I kind of get choked up about it because, you know, one of the things that you always think about is how do we affect those people that we never meet? You know, the people that are beneficiaries of the projects that we do in other countries, we don't realize. We may never see them unless we're fortunate enough, like yourself, to go on a trip. And my niece, who is at the University of Chicago, just about to graduate from medical school, she had read about some of the projects that Rotary does, because she lives right there in Evanston, just to the northern part of Evanston in Chicago. And she said, you know, one of the reasons I chose the specialty I chose was because I want to do those types of projects. I want to give back like that when I'm through medical school. And I just, you know, I've never really talked to her that much about Rotary, but of course it's kind of lives and breathes it in my house. So if you're around me, you're going to hear about Rotary, as I know with the 3 of you. And so that just kind of rubbed off on her, that she kind of figured out, well, this would be a great way for me to take my profession and give back to those that are less fortunate than me. So I hope someday to be able to go on one of those projects myself. And in a few years, Catherine will be ready, very ready. How about you, Doug?
I got talked into joining Rotary through my mentor at the time, my fire chief, and I was working in the fire department, and he said he was leaving the fire department. He needed somebody from the fire department to represent, so come join. And I'd been involved in the community and raising money for the fire department for Hearst tools and other equipment, and Rotary was generous to us. And I said, okay, good chance for me to give back to the community. And I thought Rotary was more of a community club. Then I went on one of the trips to Peru and was able to work in the recovery area, and this little young man came out, and after surgery, I'd seen him before. He was very grotesque looking in his face and stuff. And as we brought him out, and we put him in the recovery, and he was coming out, and he started to try and touch his face, and we stopped him, and we got a little mirror for him, and he saw his face for the first time, and he was a handsome young man. And he touched his face, just reached up again. I stopped him, and then he reached over and grabbed my name tag, and in his best English said, "Thank you, Douglas Meyer." And at that point, I realized Rotary wasn't just community, and my community wasn't just Seminole, and it wasn't just Pinellas County or the state of Florida or the United States of America. Our community is the world. And what he did for me, he just opened up an entire world for me that I wasn't expecting. And since then with S4TL, I've had some other experiences with there that tell me that we in Rotary make a difference.
Oh, yes.
And it may be just one child at a time, but we can help change the world and make a difference.
And, because we make it one child at a time, that one child goes on to affect another. They always talk about the 6 degrees of separation. That one child then affects at least 6 more people, who then 6 more people. And before you know it, we really have made a significant change in the world. My husband is not a Rotarian by membership, but he is a Rotarian. And I remember when we went to Assembly in San Diego, my husband, he understood Rotary, but he didn't really get the whole international part of it as well. And usually each day, half of the day, you're in a big room with all the other district governor-elects. And and your spouses. So we're in there and we're listening to a speaker, and it was Jennifer Jones. If you know Jennifer, she's now a director. And she was telling a story about a water project. Now, my husband is a paramedic and was a Navy SEAL and served in Vietnam, so he's seen some things. Pretty tough guy. And when Jennifer told that story, my husband wept because he finally understood. He said to me, this organization is a really big deal. And I said, yes, this is a really big deal. We make differences as Rotarians all over the world with people that we may or may never meet. But we're changing the world one child at a time. How about you, Gene?
Well, I'm a charter member.
Oh,
and
wow.
When 1980, when I was asked to come to a meeting by the Noon Club members, I had no clue what Rotary was. I didn't know the first thing about Rotary. All I knew was the people that were there, people that I respected and liked.
Right.
So I came in really thinking this would be a great place to network for business. And that's really what it is to some extent. And so probably for the first 3 or 4 years, that's how I viewed it until Rotary started the polio initiative. Now, I grew up in Cincinnati across from a school called Condon School. Condon School was a school specifically for children with polio.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up in an era when polio was still a feared word, and the fact that Rotary was going to eradicate that in the world, I understood that. That's when I became a Rotarian.
And that's what a lot of people say. A club member is someone that comes to the meetings and pays their dues. But a Rotarian is someone that gets it, that passion in our belly, that need to make a difference in the world. There's something that connects every one of us.
Right.
And so, that's really when people, talk about Rotarians versus club members. And I think it's important. Most people, they actually say most people come into Rotary because of the networking. Mm-hmm. Now, when you think about it, if you're going to get something repaired in your home, who's the first person you think of? Oh, who in my club does that kind of work? Mm-hmm. Who in a local club near us that we've worked with does that kind of work? Here in West Pasco, we have 6 clubs in a 5-mile radius. There's about 300 Rotarians on this side of the county. So you're going to do anything. I'm in commercial real estate. If I need some help on a property, I call another Rotarian. Why? Sure. Because I know the standards, I know the ethics, I know that it's somebody that's going to do a really great job for me. But it's also because I know that person gives back to the community, and we work together side by side. And I think that that's really important. We all know the story of how Rotary got started, and really that was really what it was about. Paul Harris wanted to make some friends. He wanted to find some people that had common minds, common likes, that he was able to build some friendships with and then make a difference in the community. So I think it's great that each one of you have a Rotary story, and I got to tell you, all of them are pretty touching. As a little district governor elect going off to assembly, we were supposed to record our Rotary story. And I listened to some of my classmates who had phenomenal stories, particularly about international projects they'd done, and I had not done anything about that. So it took me a little bit to kind of formulate what my Rotary story was about. Why did I really want to be a Rotarian? What was it about Rotary that was the thing that turned on for me? And for me, it was, I'm a cancer survivor. I was a newborn when I had cancer, and there's really no reason I should be sitting here today talking with all of you. So I really feel very blessed to simply be alive. And now that I'm at a point in my life where I'm financially secure and I'm able to give back, I really wanted to find a place that I could do that effectively. And it was clear to me, at least in this community, that Rotary was definitely the place to belong. Again, 300 Rotarians. Anybody that owns a business is pretty much a Rotarian. You sit on any boards in this community, a 501c3, the Chamber of Commerce, 80% of the board is Rotarians. So I knew that that's kind of where everything's kind of happened if we were going to give back to the community. And I've never been sorry. I have to tell you that it was the best decision I ever made. And just as it gave me a lot of vocational experience, the opportunity to do this show, learning how to really be an effective public speaker, learning how to motivate volunteers, which we all know can be quite challenging and very different than motivating employees. Some of the vocational experiences I've had, graphic artist, we needed to have a brochure for our club. Someone said, how do you do this? I said, I don't know, but I'll figure it out, ta-da. We have a brochure, but I'd never done anything like that before, because in our world, we have support staff that does all that stuff for us. I don't do that kind of work. So it really, it helped me not only give back and pay it forward for the blessing that I'd already gotten, but it also made me a better professional because of the skills I learned within the Rotary Club. And I'm sure you guys have all benefited from those things as well.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, I know Jean and Doug, you've both been president of your club, so you've benefited from doing that 50-some meetings a year, standing in front of the club. That certainly prepares you for public speaking.
I think Doug and I both. Doug's been, I think, 3 times?
3 times.
Wow.
Me twice, and George?
George
I've
is,
been president twice with
He's
the
had-
So this will be your third
he's had
time.
it for his third time.
Good for you guys. Wow.
He might get
I've
it
only
right.
done it once, but but we are talking of, we call them retreads in our club.
Yes.
We are talking about retreads, simply because we sometimes we don't mentor our professionals that come into the club real well, and we need to get them rotarized, I always say, get to that Rotary training. Well, when we come back from the break, folks, we're going to talk about the Rotary Club of Seminole Lakes, and specifically about some of the projects they've done and will be doing. We'll see you after this break.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just 1 or 2 options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation. Visit Pasco County, Florida.
Young professionals and young people can find something in Rotary that makes so much sense for their existence.
One of my goals, and I think one of the goals of just younger people in general as we get into organizations like this, is to kind of diversify it.
There are a lot of people who have a lot to offer, but don't know an outlet for it, don't know where to put it, and this gives you access to everything.
I was just amazed at everything Rotary did and how much bigger than it was than what I thought it was, and so I wanted to join. I wanted to be a part of that.
You know, we laugh. It's a bunch of old guys that get together for lunch every week, and it's the furthest thing from that.
It's so much more than I originally thought it was. It wasn't just about making friends. It was about going out on a random Friday morning and helping to build a barn.
You know, we tend to be a little compartmentalized in our lives, and sometimes we forget people in our community who need help.
The face-to-face, the personal engagement with individuals and in the community is, you can't find that or replicate that elsewhere.
Whether we come from one walk of life or another, it transcends all of that because we come together in the name of service.
As a young professional, I just think it's one of the best things I could possibly have done.
Well, welcome back. Like I said, we've got Jean and George and Doug here. We're going to talk about the Rotary Club of Seminole Lake. So, guys, where do you guys meet? Tell us about your club.
We meet at Freedom Square, which is one of the largest retirement complexes
It's beautiful.
in Pinellas County, actually. And there's an auditorium called the Ross Camp Auditorium, and we meet there at 7:15 every Friday morning.
God bless you. God bless you. I remember going there to visit as a governor, and boy, that's a long trek from Pasco, and it was an early morning. But what a great club! What a great club! Now, we were just talking. You guys have been in existence for 36 years, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, which club locally? You always have a sponsoring club when you're founded. Which club was it?
It was the Noon Club. That was. The Noon Club, they had a lot of members who really couldn't work, who needed to work through the lunch hour.
Right.
And they just said, so they formed our club because it was a business necessity.
Oh, wow.
And as a matter of fact, I think 3 or 4 of the members of that club actually transferred into our new club that we chartered in October of 1980.
Wow. Wow. And some of the history, you've got you were talking earlier before we got mic'd up. You've got, of course, Tim Schuler, who is a past district governor. He was actually governor when I was president-elect. I remember that very distinctly. And you've also got the first woman governor came from your club.
Patch Morantz came from our club.
Yeah. And then, of course, Linda Vance followed, and then I was the third.
Right.
So that's a pretty big distinction. And what year was that? Because it was very shortly after women were...
1999, 2000. Yeah. And our club, when I first came into our club, that was the battle that was going on. The Supreme Court had ruled that women belong in Rotary, and there was a big battle going on in our club, and I was looking around like, do I want to be a part of this, because do women belong and stuff? And it's probably been one of the best decisions that has come along in Rotary and over the years, and allowing women into the Rotary Club, because they become they're part of the community, they're part of the business community, and they help drive the clubs, and it's been a tremendous asset for our club over the years to have women as part of our club, so it's a good thing.
One of the reasons I became president the second time, only 10 years after the first time, is that exact reason. I said, this is nuts. Women need to be in Rotary. And so I basically and there was a large contingent of members who were against it. I just said, no, this is not the way it's going to work. So I became president, and I said, you're not going to buck the president. That's basically what happened.
Well, one of the stories that I heard from the College on Legislation was when the vote came up, there's a galley, they're voting, they're listening, they're arguing. There are cases for each, and I call it a bill, but each amendment that comes up. And when that amendment came up, the galley filled with all of the spouses of the men. And it was really the wives that were uneasy about letting women into Rotary.
Really?
It really wasn't the men. And the men were just like you said, it needs to happen, but they didn't want to buck their wives. They were concerned, obviously, about that. So they really were okay with the Supreme Court coming down saying women have to be, allowed in. And when I was also in San Diego at Assembly, I actually met one of the 11 women that filed that case. She was actually governor the same year I was governor in her district in California, and she was very humble by the impact that those, she and those other 10 women made, but very grateful and clearly a born leader. She was fabulous to listen to. Fabulous, absolutely. Now you do quite a few projects in your club. Now how big is your club? How many members?
We have 36 members.
Okay. So what we'd call a medium-sized club. But you've got, I think, James, we've got a picture of the bell ceremony. So tell me what the bell ceremony is. Here's a picture right here.
George.
What is this?
I was president during that term. The fire department that I retired from has a very active honor guard.
Oh, wow.
Representing many different events in the community. But what they were missing was the bell that you saw in that picture. And those bells are very, very expensive. So one of the projects that we decided to do was to raise funds so that we could donate a bell to the fire department honor guard. It's a very distinct toned bell.
Yes, it is.
And in fact, we invited the honor guard when we presented the bell to them to one of our Rotary meetings, and they did a very special honorarium bell ceremony for our Rotary Club. We donated that bell to the Fire Department Honor Guard.
That's fabulous. My husband was in a volunteer fire department in Virginia and was part of the color guard that honored there at the national firefighters ceremony that they do, and he was one of those color guard folks that did that. So I know the sound of that bell.
Yeah.
And I hope it's many years before I hear
Hear it again. Correct.
Yes, yes.
And that was another example where there were no dry eyes in the,
I'm
in
sure.
the audience when they performed that ceremony.
I'm pretty sure of that, yeah.
I was very proud.
Well, and what a great thing to do, to be remembered as the club that gave them the ability to do that. Because, that's a huge thing for those that lose someone in service as a firefighter or a paramedic. That ceremony means a lot to all of them, I know.
It does.
And then you do something called Rocktoberfest. What's that all about?
Rocktoberfest it's an opportunity for us to get together the community. We hired 4 bands, brought them out, and we start early in the afternoon. It's in October. We sell beer and bratwurst and all kinds, and it's an opportunity for people to pay a little nominal fee to come in, watch the show, listen to several different bands over the course of an afternoon and evening, enjoy dinner, enjoy fellowship with a lot of people, and it's just a fun time, and it's great to listen to the bands and the different music that we are able to provide.
Now that's a pretty big fundraiser for you guys?
This last year, we finally broke the $10,000 mark, and
okay.
So it's a lot of work and a lot of effort to put into it, but it's something that we need to try out, see if we can make it happen. So it was good.
And how long have you been doing that?
This is our 4th year.
Okay, so it's still a pretty young project.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fast growth in a project like that, because it often takes several years before you're able to really make a huge impact like that.
Well, fortunately, we got some members that help us with the bands, help us with the groups. They've got contacts, and we've had people to help us with the media. Overcoming the costs of just telling people about it, the advertising, marketing is the tough part.
Yeah, and learning social media and exactly how to get the best impact for yourselves can be challenging.
Yes, it can.
Can be very challenging. And then you sent me something on the RCS crew. What is that?
That's the Religious Community Services. It's RCS.
Oh, there we go.
What we've been doing in the past is we do a quarterly dinner. This is a house. It's a housing development that's designed for people that are homeless, but yet they're trying to get their lives together, and RCS gives them a home to stay in for, I think it's 6 months is the most, but during that time they've got to go from being homeless to figuring out how to do a job. They have to learn how to do budgets and their bank books and everything else, get a job, be pretty regular at it, and then they help them find another home. So we've turned around and provided a free meal for them on a quarterly basis. A few other agencies do the same thing, and it saves the families from having to pay whatever to buy the food to have dinner. And they stop by, and it's been anywhere from lasagna to hot dogs and hamburgers to I think we had roast beef one time. It's been really nice. We have since taken on, we're going to overhaul an entire 3-bedroom apartment and convert it, get it painted, put new furniture in it, get it all cleaned up, get some plumbing done, some electrical work done, and get that ready for the RCS folks, so that that next family that comes into new mattresses, comes into new furnishings in the house, new linens and things like that. So it makes a big difference for people to give them that hand up.
Right.
And again, we're making a difference in our community, one family at a time.
Right, and that's important. A lot of shelters, the children and the mother go one area and the father goes another area. They can't stay together. And that, I know here in Pasco we have the same challenge. We're having a place where they can actually stay together as a family unit, which really helps with the continuity and really helps them to recover from whatever it might have caused them
Yes.
to be homeless. But when they're separated, that continuity is so much more difficult. Because they don't have the support of one another.
Yeah, this weekend actually is the onset of the painting. So this weekend will be, I'm going to be there painting on Saturday with a number of other Rotarians, and then they're going to, once that all's done, they're going to bring all the new furniture and furnishings into the place. So this has been an ongoing project now for about 2 months, I think.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome, and that's a lot for you guys to take on. 36 members, that's not a lot of members to do that kind of work, because that's a substantial project.
But we have some people that are really fired up over it and helping RCS. There's another project you'll talk about a little bit later, and the club gets behind things that they can do. They can put their hands on and go make that difference that we do.
Yeah, I think, and we always call it sweat equity. The sweat equity
Exactly.
means more to them than certainly writing a check. People are a lot more into that. I mean, certainly everyone in Rotary is very generous, but doing the sweat equity is really important. And I think, I don't know about your club, but I know for us, it really binds you together. You really get some fellowship there that you can't get at a cocktail party or a potluck. It's a different kind of fellowship.
Yep.
Because you're sweating together, you're working together to make a difference. I commend you on that. That's a pretty big undertaking.
That photograph that you showed was actually, I don't know who brought we brought grills. We grilled burgers and hot dogs, and we actually brought the grills out there, and so it was normally we use a kitchen, but this was more of a outdoor picnic type of a thing. So it was, and Doug was it your truck we brought the grill in?
George's truck,
George's
yeah.
Anyway.
And I bet that created a community kind of feeling too for those folks, that they could kind of commune together.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go to break right now, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more about the Rotary Club of Seminole Lake.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day, and everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Whoa, whoa.
Hello, I'm Isabelle Fontana. You may know me from the world of fashion, but I'm also a Hollywood ambassador for Rotary International. I have decided to participate of this campaign because I am a mother and I'm very conscious about our future.
नाम क्या है? What is your name? Isabelle. अपना नाम बताओ. She's training with the song.
Well, I vaccinated a lot of children, and that for me was, I felt it was the most important experience of my life, actually. We're this close to making history. This close to changing the world.
That's a new ad that I just happened to find on Rotary.org last night, and I thought it was really spoke to a lot of the young folks, because this young lady is, she could be supporting anything, but she's not. She's supporting the end of polio, which I think is fabulous. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of really popular personalities support our fight against polio. So let's go back to your club. Now, I think the next picture we have is about the bunny breakfast, which I thought was awesome, where you guys actually brought in some kids and did a breakfast with them?
Actually, this is through the city of Seminole, and what they did is they actually wanted our club or somebody to assist them in putting on a breakfast for the community. So the parents would bring their kids, they would pay some nominal fee for the breakfast, and we provided all the people power to cook and serve, and also to provide the bunny, so that it really was a bunny breakfast. And this is not the bunny breakfast. This is actually
Teacher's appreciation.
That's your teacher's appreciation. I apologize.
That's all
my
right.
tablets died, so we've gone to the paper. So I'm a little off on my list there. So let's finish on the bunny breakfast. First, I want to know who was the bunny.
The bunny was Brian Barrero.
Oh, okay. So next time I see Brian, I want to make sure we give it. But what a great thing to do. I mean, again, just a lot of fun. I mean,
We
to be able to.
We do the same. We do a Santa Claus breakfast with the city conjunction, and we provide the Santa Claus. That again, we provide the labor, and they provide the decorations. But we probably see 125, 200 kids that come in and get to sit on Santa's lap for a little bit and talk to him and have a nice little breakfast and sing a couple songs, and it's just a fun morning for us.
And what a great way to remember the reason for the season.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That it's just really, I don't know about you, but I look forward to those kinds of events because to me that's Christmas. My husband and I don't have children, and I have a large family, but they're all scattered all up north, most of them. My parents are here, but for us, it's more about the giving back. It's more about delivering food or doing something like that than anything else. Now, James had shown the picture about the principal's breakfast.
Well, our club was formed in 1980, and Osceola High School was formed in 1980. So when the high school was formed, it was a natural that we would just kind of work with that school, create an Interact club, and work closely with the administration. And one of the things, because one of the members who's retired since from that school, is named Glenn Stam, and Glenn, through Glenn decided they worked with the principal. The principal wanted to welcome the teachers every year, and it's something that that person does, and we fund it and provide the food and do all the things so that, again, you know, the schools don't have a lot of money, so we just do this for them as a way of, you know, keeping our relationship strong.
And what a great thing to do for a group of folks that work so hard. Teachers are so, you know, they just, they really do. I mean, especially some of them that deal with some of the younger kids, particularly in the middle schools. That's a tough job. But to be able to do that and welcome them back, it's a great way of just letting them know how much you all appreciate the difference they make in the community and what they do with those kids. Because it's not an easy thing. And then we have the holiday sled. I think we've got a picture of Santa and a couple pictures where you called it the red sleigh.
The red sled. Well, that was something that we started this year when we had 6 new members that came in the club this year. And Sandra Lilo, our president, challenged them to come up with a project that would be an ongoing project that would be community oriented. And so these 6 new members actually really put this together.
Wow.
We built a red sled.
Wow.
We built a red sled that was going to be filled with toys, primarily for the benefit of the youth, the Eckerd Youth Alternatives, which is for the children with their foster homes. Because these kids, when they grow out of the foster homes, they really are kind of in limbo. We are really trying to find gifts for those children who are young adults, really, so that we can do something for them during the holidays. Those kids are usually forgotten. It's usually the smaller children that are looked at. So the Red Sled Project this year, I think, raised over $5,000 in cash, and I think 1,300 gifts were actually raised.
Wow. So those are kind of like unwrapped gifts.
Unwrapped gifts,
and then do you have a wrapping party where you actually wrap them?
No, we take it to the Eckerd Alternative. They have a warehouse at the time, and things get separated. Families get to come in and pick what they need. They'll do the wrapping, and it's as if it's coming from them. You know, we're that silent partner.
Yep, that's what a lot of folks are doing now.
But we're out there, you know, gathering the gifts. We've partnered with some folks out on Madeira Beach, and we've had the red sled out there. The city of Madeira Beach had a concert. We were able to have the red sled out, and people, as part of their fee to get in, they had to bring a gift, and we put that in, and it was quite exciting to watch what 6 new members, 6 new faces, 6 fresh folks with ideas can come up with, and they got the whole club excited about it.
But don't you think that engages them quicker?
Absolutely.
They're more likely to stay. You know, again, statistically we show if a Rotarian or a club member stays in a Rotary Club for 3 or more years, they're going to stay.
Yes.
It's that 3-year, right? That 3-year mark is usually when they kind of duck and run if they're not going to stay. But to engage them immediately, you're the second club we've had on in just the short period of time we've been doing this show that does kind of a new member thing. The Trinity Club does one. They're actually going to do it Wednesday here right behind us in the park. And again, engaging the new members to get them to have fun together and get that fellowship as new members, but also to learn about how to put a project together. I mean, not everybody knows how to do that. You'd be surprised, really. So it's a great way to engage them, and they're more likely to stay in your club.
Yep. And the Red Sled is actually part of the community at this point, because we have it literally around the community during the November, December timeframe.
Right.
So it's around, and then the city of Seminole puts a lighted Santa parade on in December. That was the last sled. I mean, the sled was the last unit with Santa and Mrs. Claus in it, full of toys, and people would bring toys to put into the sled. So it's really taken a life of its own.
And everybody's really embraced it.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah.
And it's a fun thing for the club, too. It's fun for the members. There's work for those core folks, but for the membership itself, it's fun. It's something that we just all like to do, get behind and run with. So.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. I can see that would be. And then I think the next thing we talked about the Ronald McDonald House. James, do we have a photo? Now, I'm familiar, but explain what the Ronald McDonald House is.
George?
There's a Ronald McDonald Foundation which was founded specifically to help the family members come and have contact with their children. You know, when children are trying to heal, the loving nurturing that they get from their parents is so important.
Oh, yeah.
So Ronald McDonald, the house, is a place where parents can stay right adjacent to a hospital, and these are all over the country. We will go in and prepare meals similar to what we do for the RCS house, but these are meals that we prepare for the family members that are helping to take care of their children that are sick. And so, again, another great opportunity for club members to get together and prepare meals, able to interact with those. And some of these people staying in Ronald McDonald House are those of means, some are not, but it doesn't matter. It's fellowship. It's a way for the parents to get a little bit of break from reality, have a great time, and then get back to taking care of their children.
And this house is located, is this the one down in Tampa?
This is in St. Petersburg.
It's in St. Petersburg.
By All
okay.
Children's John Hopkins Medicine Hospital.
Right. Yep.
That's right next to it, adjacent to it, actually.
Okay. Okay. And most of these families, their children are afflicted with some type of cancer, leukemia.
Well, they could be there for any reason.
Okay.
The children are in the hospital for whatever, it could be that, but it could be some other issue, but they're being treated at the facility, and many of these children are on Medicaid,
right.
And so the parents, they really don't have a lot of resources. So this becomes a real way of staying close to their children when they need them, and also to be supported by the community.
Right, and I imagine supported by each other.
Sure.
Being able to support each other as they go through the challenge with their children.
And to be able to sit down with the families and talk to them about what's going on. Some of them you can relate to, some of them you're almost, wow, how could that ever be thrown upon a family? And the fact that they had a chance to come and have a nice little meal, it's a good thing,
Just a break.
And it makes you feel good, that you helped out even just that little bit. So
that's great. Well, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Well, welcome back to my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun. Now, two other things that we didn't get a chance to talk about just yet was the Al Fox dinner. Gene, tell us about that. That was just recently that you guys did that.
It was just about a week ago, and Dr. Sandra Lilo, who's been to Cuba and who's now going to Cuba on another mission, wanted to honor Al Fox, who has been a Cuban activist for 20 years trying to break the embargo and the acrimonious relations that we've had with Cuba and the government. And because of Al's efforts, I think President Obama relaxed all the tensions last December, and now relations are starting to thaw. So we had this dinner to honor his efforts in getting this to happen. And at that dinner, we asked District Governor Will Miller to present Al and his wife, Ann Shepard, a Paul Harris Fellowship.
Oh, wow. And Will was telling me about it. He said it was quite exciting. He happened to be at another event with me on Saturday night, and he was very excited and very honored to be part of that dinner. And then the Adopt-A-Mile, which a lot of us do Adopt-A-Miles. We have one on 19. Several clubs do here. But tell us a little bit about your story with Adopt-A-Mile.
When I was president the second time in '91, the county came out with this project, and they sent letters to all the community clubs, and they said, we're going to do Adopt-A-Mile. Would you like to do it? And of course, our board agreed. And so I thought it'd be a great idea, and I said, I want to pick this mile between 86th Avenue and 102nd, which at the time was really desolate. There was nothing there. I said, this will be the center of town at some point, and now it is. St. Petersburg College is right in the middle of that, so is City Hall. Those did not exist in 1991. So we have been doing that for 25 years, and under the leadership of Chuck O'Daney, and I have to give him credit because he's been the grandfather of that for the whole time.
And they always put a sign up during where your mile is that says this mile is maintained by, and they give the name of the organization. So that's a pretty good insight as to what section to pick on your part. Well, let's talk a little bit about S4TL. I think first, why don't we, if we can, James, we'll show that video from S4TL, which really kind of gives folks a background on the organization. And then, of course, Doug has been involved since forever, and we'll come back and talk to Doug.
It's what I call a wow factor. In my Rotary Club, I've asked my club members to, when they get up and have a speaker, to tell me what your wow factor is. Here at S4TL, you run across those wow factors.
The first day, they are kind of wide-eyed and said, why did I come to this camp? But when they roll up out here and the red shirts come up and greet them and say, you're in such and such a color group, your leader is so-and-so, or I'm your leader, let me take your bags, it's very different. And I think that starts them off on the right track.
When the delegates first come to us, they're thinking that they're giving up a week of their summer. What they learn while they're here is that this isn't like anything else that they've experienced.
They find themselves in a really odd setting. They're put in some awkward situations, but they learn to adapt, and they find these friends, and they find that people really like them for who they are.
S4TL's program is set up in such a way that the entire seminar is run by students who have gone through the program. The first year that they're here, they're a yellow shirt. The program is dedicated to their success.
It's you and your clubs that give us the yellow shirts. Thank you for that. You give us excellent yellow shirts. We have 154 yellow shirts this year.
They get some basic principles the first time they're here. They hear the story, they feel the story, they get to know each other and they bond.
The red shirts are going to come back and they're going to experience what it's like to be a leader to a peer. Those 18 will come back and lead their color groups.
So it's pretty much a tough job to come up with the 18 best kids that we can.
Coming back as a red and then being able to work with the yellows and being able to see their transformation and growth, I just find it amazing.
10 of them will come back next year as white shirts.
They've got more responsibilities because they've shown some leadership skills, and they foster that with their red shirts, and they start bringing the best out of them and coordinating things.
So we've got a couple working on newspaper, a couple in recreation, a couple behind the podium over there running the equipment.
They're working behind the scenes to ensure that the yellow shirts have the experience that they deserve. So within just a few years of their junior year in high school, they're able to see how a very large organization works and experience it.
2 years after you're a white shirt, we then choose 2 special assistants to the director.
When you get to the special assistants, they run the program. That's a pretty comprehensive program.
Coordinate your white shirts, the red shirts, and make sure the yellow shirts are where they belong at the right time.
We advise them and help them when they need a little help, but they're the ones that run the program.
The people who work in all 4 phases have got an advantage over other people who don't do things like this.
Each level that each delegate rises up carries additional responsibilities as well as additional leadership opportunities.
And it's that experiential learning that sets S4TL apart from a lot of other programs.
I don't know that anyone does it the way we do it.
Well, I would have to say there's nothing quite like S4TL.
We're a full week long. There's other programs that are 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days into our program, we're really just starting.
We bring in some really good speakers and people that have real life experience, and they do a tremendous job.
They're high quality, they're known nationally, some of them are known internationally. They have a message and they help provide the skills for the students to use to become successful.
We have 150 different delegates, 160 different delegates, and each one is going through their own challenges. So we bring in speakers that can connect to different kinds of kids. We're bringing in half a dozen of some of the country's best speakers, and they're really making change.
Here, the students are going to be exposed to different points of view, different activities, different messages. That's unique in leadership development programs.
The speakers get them up and they keep them active and they keep their mind engrossed in what's going on.
We do hands-on activities, we're up out of our chair, learning trust, communication skills, goal setting, time management. They have to think outside the box, they have to leave their comfort zone.
If it's fun and significant, you've hit a home run.
It's a very intense, positive experience.
But this is a great program, a great place to come.
They want to have a good life. They want to give back to their community, and I think it's very refreshing to see that.
Plastic change in the community.
Okay. Yeah, you can cut it. So we couldn't show you the entire video, but I can tell you that it is on YouTube. If you simply go to the search engine there and put in S4, the number 4, TL, it will come up for you as well. And if any of you would like the link, just shoot me over an email and I'll be glad to send it to you. Or better yet, I'll post it on the Facebook page as well. But Doug, you've been involved for years, so let's talk a little bit about S4TL. I mean, it's grown to be quite a large event now.
S4TL is a 3-district joint operation that comes across. We see there's 150 Rotary clubs in the 3 districts. About 120 participate by sending a delegate, and the clubs select their delegates who are high school seniors, going to be high school seniors. They have to have completed their junior year. They come to the program. The Rotary Club is responsible for paying for their tuition. Then they bring them over to Florida Southern College in Lakeland. Once they're there, we greet them, we run them through, get them signed in, get them a dorm room, and we start the program. Out of the 120 clubs, we get 165 delegates. From those delegates later on, we'll select 18 what are called red shirts. They are our junior staff. They coordinate the different groups. From those 18, the following year we'll pick 10 that will help us be part of the management team. From those 10, we select 2 to come back as special assistants a couple years later, and they run the entire program. But it's an entire leadership program that takes these young people from coming there going, why am I here? They put me in this yellow shirt. I can't wear my sunglasses. I can't wear a hat. I got to pull my pants up and
no phones.
No phones.
No.
They got to wear a belt.
Yep.
And to hearing some of the most inspiring speakers that are around the country today. One of our staff members is involved with the leadership programs throughout the school system, so she has an opportunity nationally to see some of these speakers come in. And they tell these kids real stories from how they stumbled in life, how they picked themselves up, how not to be ashamed of themselves, how to be a better person, and how to do leadership things that are necessary to lead. Some of our kids are going to be the Interact president. Some of them are going to be the student body president. Some of them are just somebody that the Rotary Club thought they need that program.
Well, and we talked a little bit about the student that you bring there on the beginning of the week is not the same student you pick up and take back home.
They get a big wow factor, and,
Yeah.
and I talk about that. But when it's done, they don't want to leave. They've changed emotionally. They've been able to see things, do things, have friends that they will keep forever. There's a significant change that you see. If you ever bring the child over and then pick them up, they're different. The best part, though, is when we talked about was the rap sessions.
Yes. Yeah.
And we invite Rotarians to come over, and whether you've sent a delegate or not, the Rotary clubs are welcome to send us somebody. But come over on that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the program. You get a chance to have lunch, and you're indoctrinated into a color group. You have lunch with that color group. We give you a little information afterwards, and then we send you out into these groups where you sit with 18 young people and you discuss whatever they want to discuss.
Right.
And it can be anywhere from rape to incest to capital punishment to the wars to whatever they want to talk about. And my first few times over there going to those rap sessions, it was, wow, these kids are sharp.
Yeah, they are.
The young people you see on TV over and over again, the ones getting arrested, the ones doing stupid things.
That's not these kids.
And you listen to these kids and you go, there's hope for our generations to come.
You know, we're running out of time, Doug, but I know that this is such a phenomenal program. And what I'd like to try to do is arrange after you're done with that week-long program to perhaps bring 2 of those students with you and come back.
We'd love to do it.
And let's talk about S4TL and put some stuff together so that we can use it maybe to get more clubs to participate, but so people can really see what this does for these young folks and the opportunity it provides them to develop their leadership skills. So let's do that in another segment, maybe in the middle of June after you're done.
They would love to do it.
Okay, terrific. Unfortunately, folks, we have run out of time, but you've been able to take a look at the Rotary Club of Seminole Lake, and I want to thank George and Jean and, of course, Doug for coming on. It's a little bit of a drive for them to come up here to Newport Richey, and I hope that you've enjoyed this segment of My Rotary Show, and we'll see you next week, doing good and having fun. See you later.